Hey YouTube, good morning. Sorry it's been a few days since I've made a video. Kind of waiting on 10.13 to drop anyway. But I also got COVID for the first time and I've been kind of down for the count for the last few days. In any case, I wanted to, I had a new idea of kind of focusing on some right turn on red scenarios. I'm going to say out front, 10.12 is doing pretty good. It's a little jerky. The turns are not smooth, but in general, it's getting where it needs to go with pretty good success compared to previous versions. There's a lot to work on, but I'm going to continue to focus on some of these, corner cases. They're not really corner cases because they exist everywhere, but little data points where maybe Tesla can use some good examples and see how the car behaves in repeated attempts. So not too far from my house, I've got a red light where a right turn on red is legal. There's also a railroad on the other side, and very frequently the car stops at the big white line that is just marking that there's a railroad ahead, as if it was a stop line. So we'll see if that happens today. Also, I just want to give a shout out to my daughter Ellie. I'm wearing my Father's Day present she gave me. It's a really cool Tesla t-shirt, and I want to give her great credit for finding such a t-shirt. Also, I have my HDMI mod back up and running. I did not do this one myself. I went ahead and paid Adam Urban to do it for me. He did give me permission to give him a shout out. If anyone is interested in this HDMI mod, please give him a shout out. I'll put his contact information in the description of this video. A great shout out to Adam Urban. He does a nice job with these. They are expensive, but in my opinion, if you're making content or you just enjoy the technical nature of extracting from the screen, it's a great addition. Okay, so let's get going. I'm going to go ahead and stick a destination in here that will give me a right turn at this intersection, and you can kind of see it right there, and I will try to recreate this right turn on red scenario. All right, we're starting here with a stop sign that turns left into this intersection, and ironically, we have a jogger up here. Let's see how it handles. I got a car coming from the right also. The jogger is waiting. This car is proceeding. I've got my left blinker on, and then I'm proceeding nicely. Okay, and it looks like it perfectly worked out. Now here's that railroad crossing line I was talking about. And look, it didn't stop at it that time. Interesting. I wonder if that's because it had a lead car. Now this is a scenario that we've debated many, many times, where there's kind of room for a car on the left that's waiting on the left turn or going straight, and there's room on the right to make a right turn. The car is kind of in the middle to where I'm kind of blocking the lane. There's some debate I know we've had of whether this is the right way to be polite or not. Okay, so that car turned right on red, which is a great example. Now let's see if it does the creep here. Okay, it's wide open from the left. Nice. All right, 1 out of 1. It had a great gap, and I think it did a good job there. It had a lead car to give it a little bit of a hint, but I think that's what we need. Let's try some more. Okay, here we go again. This time you do have 2 cars lined up in that left lane here, and it went over the railroad paint sign fine that time. Now let's see. Oh, it looks like it's going for the corner up here. This is good. Sorry, I should have had the widescreen view on. So now here's a good scenario where the B pillar is completely blocked at this point, but it stopped. Let's see if it chooses to creep here. It doesn't look like it's going to try to creep at all. Listen, it doesn't have the alert, and it doesn't look like it's edging up at all. I wonder if this is a scenario where it's going to wait on the green light because of that car, which is fine. The locals would not want me to do that. Interesting how far that car is pulling up, even though the light didn't turn green. I actually almost have a little bit of a view now because of this gap. It's going to turn green on us here, and there's the green light, and we're going to proceed. So there's the second one where it chose to not even try to creep because of that car location. So I think that was an okay choice. I mean, it was a definite blockage there. There was no way to see, so waiting was fine. Let's try some more. Okay, here we go again. We got the route. This time we're all by ourselves here. Ah, look. Oh, it slowed down at that railroad crossing paint, but didn't stop. Okay, it's definitely not biasing to the right. Oh, whoa. Okay, wow, it felt like it was going to go for it. Okay, so now here's a great scenario. I've got 3 lanes of traffic. In the past, and what really made me want to make this video is it has ensured all 3 lanes are clear. It does not seem to be discriminating between the specific lanes. Like right there, that right lane was open. I could have taken that, especially with the acceleration of a Tesla, and gone and stayed in the right lane. But because there's multiple cars coming, it's treating it kind of like it can't determine what lane they're in, so it has to wait on all of them to be open. See, there's another good gap. I could have definitely taken that right lane. I mean, this is fine. I mean, this is conservative. I'm just trying to describe what I think the car is doing here. So here's a car turning right here with its blinker on. And now, look, watch this. After this white car goes, all 3 lanes are clear. I bet it goes. There it goes. Yeah, so I think that is exactly what it's doing, which is fine. It's good logic, because it probably can't discern lanes over a distance with that B-pillar camera very well. So I imagine that's just, I don't know how they're going to fix that unless they get some really discrete lane approximations with oncoming traffic on that 80-meter camera. Yeah, but anyway, I'm very happy with that. So I think we're 3 of 3 of being safe. I would have definitely taken that right lane a couple times, and if someone had been behind me, they might have gotten a little bit annoyed, but I know we're not at that point yet of making everyone happy driving behind FSDBeta. Okay, let's see if we can get a few more. All right, here we go again. We got a nice right turn. Oh, look, it stopped at the railroad crossing line that time, and now it's proceeding. So it treated that railroad white paint that time, for the first time, like it was a stop line, like right here. Now it needs to stop, slow down. Oh gosh, wow, it rolled it. Now that was more aggressive than I expected. It had the acceleration, so I let it go, but wow, it almost, gosh, I'm not going to say it blindly went, but it almost didn't feel like it did the normal creep action to where it's checking. But it did it. So, and I didn't feel unsafe. What I would have normally probably done in that scenario was had to punch the accelerator, but that time it had the acceleration required in order to keep me from feeling like I needed to intervene. So I did not intervene on that one. It did it on its own. Whether that was luck or skill, it doesn't really matter for the numbers. It did it. All right, let's try another one. Okay, here we got 2 lead cars that are going left, and it's mapping a path. It looks like it wants to go around them, but let's see if it, no, it's not going to. Well, ooh, it's thinking. Oh, I think it's doing it. Come on. Gosh, oh wait, oh, it's gonna do it. It this is kind of fun to watch. It's very hesitant, it's very jerky, but it's doing it. So here's a complete blockage to the left of me with a box truck with no windows even through it. So I can't see anything, and it doesn't look like it's even going to try. And it waited on the green, and it's going to just proceed on the green. So that was just like the second one with a complete blockage. It knew to not even try to creep, which is a great behavior, I think. Because it would have to have creeped pretty far into the road, which we know it will do. We've seen that on my unprotected left turns videos. But on these right on reds, it seems to be being a little bit more conservative than that. All right, here we go again. Same route. This time we have no lead cars to worry about. I don't see any traffic yet. Let's see if there's anything for me to worry about. Okay, there's a truck coming. I can now see it. Okay, we got a little bit of traffic to deal with. Interesting. This is where I would think it would creep. It seems to be stopped here. I do have some cars behind me and a biker behind me. The biker behind me is interesting. It's on a bike, but it's being labeled as a pedestrian. He's going around to the right. Oh, there it's labeled as a biker now. So this is where I would expect it to creep and go for right on red. Now, granted, with that bike right there, I would wait. But it was waiting before that biker got there. And if you see this car back behind me at my left quarter panel, this is what I'm talking about I needed to be further to the right here in this lane so that there's room for him. Now, granted, he's waiting on a green light, but it's not perfect lane placement here. So the bias needs to be further to the right when there was no cars. It found a way of squeezing to the right when there was 2 cars here, but when it's by itself, it kind of hogged the road. Interesting. Let's see what it does with this bike, because he's not using the bike lane, which is on the other side of the road. So he just kind of jaywalked. Now, if I just sit here, it's wide open and it's not even going. I should be going right on red now. And it waited on the green light. Okay, so I can't explain that one. It did not do what what it should have done that time. We know it has right turn on red logic. It's already done it twice, once very aggressively. That time, it was all wide open by itself, and it didn't even bother to try to creep. So maybe that VRU, that bike, had a little bit of something to do with it, even though from behind. That's the only thing I can think of that was different there. Let's see if we can recreate some similar scenarios and try it again. All right, here we go again. Interesting, you can see a truck up there on the railroad tracks. He's backing up. It's got it labeled right at the truck. They're doing some tree work on the tracks over there. I don't know if you can see. That's one of those train company trucks with a big old saw blade on the tip of it for cutting trees down. All right, so here we are again in a block scenario. And if you notice, we also have a mirrored car. It's been doing this a lot in the last couple versions. A lot of phantom cars are showing up in scenarios where that mirroring is happening. And I can't explain why. It's almost, it did perfectly line them up though, didn't it? Could it possibly be seeing through the glass of this car and projecting another car? Maybe something like that's going on. But here's a scenario where it's not even trying to creep because of the blockage here. So I'm thinking it's just going to wait. So in this scenario, I'm going to tap the accelerator just to give it a nudge and see what it does. Okay, there was one nudge and it's waiting. Here's another nudge. Now let's see what it does. Okay. Oh, it went up. It can see now. I'm going to tap it one more time, and there's a car coming, so it should not go. I'm going to tap it now again. It won't go. It's nudging further forward, but it won't go. Oh, it turned green. It knew it turned green before I did. Okay, so there's definitely a bias when there's a car on the B-pillar side. It won't turn right on red. It won't even do the creeping label. Gosh, that one anomaly where it went to the right so aggressively, almost without creeping, is now feeling like a little bit of an outlier. I'm not sure what to think about that right now. I need to do a couple more. Okay, here we go again. All right, this time we're by ourselves again. See what it does this time. There's the stop line. Ha! It's not going to do anything. It's not even announcing creeping here today. If there was any, now I got a car coming up behind me that's like, what are you doing? So I'm going to nudge it again. It's wide open right now. No, it closed. So it could be going on some of these openings here. I'm going to nudge it again with the accelerator just to see if it'll creep a little further. It doesn't want to creep. I don't know what to think. It is showing red lights up there. It knows it's a right on red. Obviously, there's a lot of traffic. I wonder if there's a new bias in here that just sort of says, if you see so many cars, don't even try. I mean, if you look how full the screen is of cars. Now I'm going to tap it again. It won't go. It won't go. Yeah. This car behind me is probably annoyed. I'm going to tap it right now. Right now, I'm continuing to tap it. It won't. Okay, I'm tapping it again. All right, now I'm just pure intervention there with the accelerator. And it went. I did not disengage. I was just basically, because there was such a wide gap and there was a car behind me that time, I wanted to use that scenario to force it with the intervention. It had the lateral path calculated, but it was not wanting to turn right on red that in a completely obvious scenario. So there's some variability in here that I'm not sure how to explain yet. And I'm not seeing any creeping for visibility warnings, which is a normal function for getting visibility. And if it's not showing the warning, that's kind of my first sign that it's not even going to try it. I'm going to engage it here at the stop sign this time before it takes this right, and see if it has anything to, if I can just change up the dynamics a little bit. It needs to kind of clear this stop sign, which has very poor visibility also. Okay, now it's got the red. Stopped at the railroad sign that time. See, way back here. That's a good one for Tesla to know about. I've marked that 1,000 times. And now look, now it says it's creeping forward for visibility, but it's way back here and it's not creeping. Now it says use accelerator stalk. So I'm going to tap the accelerator to nudge it off of the railroad line. All right, so now it feels like, okay, now it's going for visibility. So, okay, we had a red light. Those cars were stopped, I think, because of the railroad crossing. That was an interesting scenario. It went for it that time. So what is the difference that time than the previous ones? I got the warning to press the stalk or the accelerator to continue, which was some sort of acknowledgement I hadn't seen before. But that time I got it at the incorrect stop line, which was actually railroad crossing paint. But once I'd given it that confirmation, it went ahead and did the creeping and right turn on red. That's the only difference I can think of that time. I mean, obviously, I did engage at the stop sign and let it turn right, but gosh, this is confusing me a little bit of a scenario there where that car was backing out blind and I was not engaged. The autopilot would have definitely stopped for that, but I was driving manually. Okay, we'll get a few more here to continue the data set. All right, it stopped again at the railroad crossing sign. Got a blinker on, it's at the wrong spot. And it's waiting here. I'm gonna tap the accelerator just to get it off of this line. There's one tap, there's two taps. Yeah, it's got some, this is unusual because it hasn't done this yet. It's always gone up to the right. We've seen that already in this video. So I'm gonna tap it again. I'm giving it, wow. It is completely behaving differently this time. Now it's biasing to the left. It still has a trajectory to the right. I'm gonna nudge it again. Now I'm in a scenario, if a car wants to go right, he can squeeze into the right of me, and now I'm not in the right spot. I'm gonna tag this one. It's got the lane lines kind of even projected correctly, so it sort of knows it's in the wrong spot. Fortunately, the car that just came up from behind me is going left. What's it gonna do here? I think it's just going to wait on the green light, and then it's going to turn right from the left lane is what it's going to do. Well, it's not even creating a blue path. It's sort of like it realizes it's stuck right now. And maybe because it thinks it's too close to the left of that car. Here is a good example. We are seeing a nice left blinker on this truck in front of us with its brake lights showing. So those light renders are good here. There is a lot going on in the screen. Because we've been talking about the railroad crossing, those railroad bars across the way are going up and down, mostly because there's equipment on the tracks here. All right, what about, here's our green light. It's safe, there is no car on the right side. Let's see what it does here. Yep, okay. Okay, I'm tapping the accelerator because it paused in that intersection. There were cars behind me. So I'm gonna tap that. That was a bad one. And it was bad because it got itself in a bad situation with where it put itself. And then the hesitancy on turning right on a green light, I'm not sure about, other than the fact that it was in the wrong lane. And I don't know, it wasn't acting like it realized it was in the wrong lane, so I don't know why it did the hesitancy in the turn on a green light. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, so we just had a lead car up there in the view. It stopped at the white line again here. It's just gonna wait here. Boy, this white paint is randomly confusing it. It should not be here. The stop line is way up there. It's done this a handful of times, but not every time on this drive. It's not asking me to press the accelerator or stalk this time like it's done in one of the situations in the past. But because it's in the wrong spot, I'm going to intervene again. I'm pressing the accelerator to get it to nudge up. But here again, now look, it's biasing to the left. Now it's not stopped at any correct spot. It's ahead of the line it was before. I'm pressing the accelerator again. Completely in the wrong lane again. It's on the left side. It's even drawing a line as it represents the two lanes here. Interesting. This would have been one of the ones I would have thought would have been easiest. But I think that railroad stop line is the confusing element there. I think it's creating its own scenario with a distance it's not familiar with. I'm tapping the accelerator now to get it up here to the line, and I'm gonna leave it right here and see what it does. So I got it to the creeping location. Let's see if it'll finish it. My foot is not pressing the accelerator now. There is traffic coming. And it's wide open if it wants to go. It's not going. Okay, so it's not in a right on red scenario. So I'm pressing the accelerator to intervene. Oh wow, that time it went to the middle lane. That's the first time it's done that today. Now granted, that was under an intervention. That's my blinker there. So I'm not sure why that scenario was so completely different than the others. Okay, I'm gonna try to intervene the next one in front of the railroad line so it maybe can take that scenario out of the equation. Let's try that. Okay, I'm in front of the railroad crossing line and I just engaged it. And granted, I recognize I'm engaging it pretty close to the scenario, but it stopped here. I'm gonna press the accelerator, intervene again. This behavior is so odd. It's just not even doing what it was doing at the beginning. That's me again, intervening. I'm just trying to get it to go. Huh. Okay. Well, I think that, I think we've created enough right on red scenarios. That's a disengagement there for me just to kind of get over here in the right lane. I think that right on reds are working, but when you do them over and over and over like we did today, you can start to see some inconsistencies that obviously with the way neural networks work and the way the models are creating the solutions just show some of the variability that the environment can create. Hopefully this data is useful to Tesla. Hopefully those of you that watched this video all the way to the end enjoyed it. I think it really makes food for thought to try to understand all of the ways that it's dealing with its environment, both with visibility to the left, with traffic, with its camera range limitations that it has, and the processing power it has to do all these calculations. It's fun to look at. Anyway, let me know in the comments below what you think about this video, if it's useful. This is the first time I've done a right on red video. If you want me to do more of them and add it to my list, right? So kind of right now I'm doing unprotected lefts. I'm doing kind of my straight and narrow Memorial Park Drive. I've got an unmarked road scenario and now right turn on reds. All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks for watching.